I'm DJ Fuckoff and I'm a producer DJ from New Zealand, and today we'll be looking at two pretty amazing pieces of equipment, the Pioneer DJ CDJ-3000 and the Denon DJ SC6000, and I'll let you know what I think. What's different with the CDJ-3000 to previous models is that we actually have a bigger processing unit inside, so everything's working super fast, clicking through tracks, scrolling through tracks, super responsive, which I really like. And also, if you're doing multi-deck mixes, I think it's quite nice to just have everything on the go, on the fly, clicking through. Apart from that, I mean, as you can see, Pioneer kind of have the standard style they have going on, which is nice. It's also comfortable. So I think if you're going into a club and it has this system, you know what you're working with. And in terms of the buttons here, we have one extra loop button, the 8-bar loop, which I really like. So that's pretty much it. Also for the Pioneer, we have the screen size is a bit bigger, so it went from the 7-inch to the 9-inch screen. And with the Denon. And with the Denon SC6000 here, we have the noticeably bigger screen size, which is the 10.1-inch screen. I think it's quite good if you are drinking a bit in the club and you really want to see the screen there. And you can use the pinch and zoom, so you're looking at all the waveforms. I mean, I really like this function, and being hands-on with it, I think is pretty cool. Another thing we have is the jog wheel size is a tiny bit bigger, which is also nice. Depends on the style, how you like things. And another awesome function is the internal hard drive bay. So instead of carrying around your USB sticks, actually you can hold a lot of music inside this device. Don't have to worry if you go to a gig, don't have your USB, check in your hard drive and you're good to go. Or if you're at home DJ and you just want to have everything within the system. And another thing which I think is the most impressive thing is the Wi-Fi capabilities. So you can connect to the Wi-Fi and have access to streaming services like SoundCloud, BeatSource, Tidal, and actually, yeah, so you don't need any hard drive or USB system at all, and you can stream and play music right through the device here. So this is pretty much what's new for the Denon DJ and Pioneer DJ from the previous models, and let's see what's next. Layout, look and feel. Cool. Okay, so when I was first unboxing the Denon, I found it quite interesting. It definitely has a spaceship-esque vibe going on, and I couldn't help but laugh a bit. Sorry, Denon, but it's a really nice piece of equipment, yeah. In terms of the layout, I really like the spacing between everything. It's not overcomplicated. You have your simple manual loops here, track skip, beat jump. I think the overall layout is super cool. It's a lot different to the last one, and there's not as much light info coming up there, which I know some people had a problem with. So I think they really did a good job at listening to their customers and adapting things on here to make it more user-friendly. And I think this, compared to the Pioneer, is much better of a function, because if you're going over the jog wheel, I mean, for me also, maybe you're accidentally hitting it here, stopping the track. So I think having it down here, it's kind of also MPC-like. I think you can be a bit more creative with what you're doing and it feels more comfortable. And in terms of the button layouts of everything, the only thing that I would say about the Denon is having to reach actually behind here to turn it off and on. If you're a little shorty like me and have short arms, it can be a bit of a struggle sometimes, but it's not the end of the world. So I think it's okay. I think it would be something that you have to get used to. And with the Denon also, you have multiple USB ports. So we have one down here. Also, you can put an SD card down here. Then you have 2 of the USB ports back here. And if you're having some fire banger tracks on your USB and you don't want them to get stolen, this is the place to put them. So, thank you, Denon, keeping my tracks safe. With the Pioneer here, we have the classic Pioneer CDJ look and feel. I really like the feel of the plate here, and all the buttons I think are super awesome. The play and cue buttons being my favorite. I think it's much nicer because you can feel like you can kind of bash on them a bit. I feel like with the Denon, it feels a bit more delicate. And like for me, I definitely like smashing on the cue button. So I feel like it definitely has more of like a durable feel. The only thing that I would say is that the pitch fader, it doesn't have maybe enough tension as I would like. There's no light clicking here. With this one, it's quite nice. When you know you're at the right pitch, the light clicks off. Maybe that helps you if you can't see so well in the club. Maybe there's a reason you can't see so well. With the Denon, it's quite smooth here, as you can see. So I think in that case, having a bit more control. But in saying that, I think everything here looks really, really good. With the bigger screen, you also can have, so we go in here, able to see the waveforms much better than the previous versions of the Pioneer CDJs. So overall, I really like the Pioneer sleek, clean look, the feel of the buttons. I think, yeah, they did a nice job there. Now we're gonna look at the display and touchscreen of both. With the Pioneer, the touchscreen is super, super responsive. Like, I mean, with this higher processing power, everything, as soon as you scroll, it's following your finger. You're clicking through, it's instantly responding. And for me, I'm pretty impatient. So I think it's nice when things are just working like that. And another really great thing, I think, with this one, let's go into the Fuckoff folder here. Load up a Fuckoff track. So with the preview function here, if you can see, actually the waveform is being previewed. So maybe you just downloaded some tracks, don't know how they're gonna be moving. So I think it's quite cool if you can see how they're going. Maybe you have a long intro or you have a short intro, want to cut straight through. So I think actually this function is really, really sick if you're just going to the club, plugging in your stick and want to have a super nice set. And for this one, so we're gonna load in the track and I can show you how fast it loads in and it's done. I think this is pretty incredible. And the screen here, it's really clear. Using the knob, you can go through, change the waveform, zooming in and out. And yeah, the display and touchscreen of the Denon here, I think this is probably the most standout feature of the whole thing because it's taking up most of the player, I guess. But like, unlike the Pioneer, which is as expected, there is a little lag time when clicking through things, but it's still simple, straightforward. Everything's where I would think it to be. And one thing we can do, which I really do like about the Denon DJ SC6000, is that if you're unsure of what a track is, you can actually preview it. So we can click this one here. It'll show you a little preview, overview of the track. Maybe you like it, don't like it, okay, don't play it. So I think this is a really nice feature that they've brought in here if you're unsure of what track that you're wanting to play next. And another great thing about this is within the system itself, you can create your own playlist. So here we can go, all right, we tap these ones and then we can create a crate, put the name in of the crate. So I think it's really next level in terms of having everything you can do, working like a computer within the operating system, Everything's easy to see. So you can change the size also of the text. So we have 1, 2 sizes. So I think this is pretty cool. And you can actually do the same with this one. If we're going into a playlist here, Queens of Club live stream, we actually have 3 options here, which is quite nice. And you also have the choice to go here, and we can do ratings of that one. I haven't rated any of the tracks yet. So you can kind of customize it in your own way, which I think is quite a cool option there. So overall, I think that both displays are super nice. Pioneer, super responsive, easy to click through, really straightforward and simple. And with Denon DJ, I think due to the screen size, of course, they're going to be having more capabilities there. You can play around a lot, you can create crates. I mean, I think they're really pushing the boundaries with this one. So with the Denon and Denon DJ and the Pioneer here, we have a lot of features, and you can look into these further if you want to. But the main things I want to stress are the comparison between the two. The most impressive feature here is being able to plug in your tracks straight away, analyzes them off the bat, and also stores the tracks within the system. So if somehow some naughty little person comes in the club, steals your USB, it actually keeps playing the track, which I think is pretty cool. The most impressive things about the Denon DJ, which the Pioneer doesn't have, is the Wi-Fi and streaming service capabilities and the 2-in-1 player. So great for you bedroom DJs. Also me, I'm a bedroom DJ, so it's much more affordable. And the third, actually, when you plug in your stick, everything is done within the system. So all the file analysis, making playlists, I mean, it is really a super amazing piece of software, which I think, takes away the thing of having to go on a computer, doing all your stuff in here, loading something onto a stick. And I think it just takes out that process, what makes it much nicer to actually go to the club, plug in, at your house, plug in. But if you want to analyze it beforehand, there also is a software that you can download on your computer, so you don't have to wait for the analysis times when you want to just plug in and play straight away. With the Pioneer DJ here, the most amazing thing about this is like the incredibly fast loading times. So when you're clicking something in, it just goes in straight away, but that's if you have pre-analyzed it on Rekordbox. So say for now we have a track which hasn't been analyzed on Rekordbox, we put it in. And as you can see here, it's loading. We can change the view, but there's no waveform information here. So it's playing, but it's not really working at its full capacity, I think, as it could be. It also stops loading here. If you want to go and analyze the whole track, as you can see, the track is paused now. We can beat jump through that and it'll keep analyzing. But with this one, same thing. We go here, press it in. Okay, so let's put in Cockney Thug. And this is an unanalyzed track. We see what happens. So the waveform is coming up here. It's going pretty quickly, so I think it'll come up. Yeah, there we go. So actually, with the Denon DJ player, it's much more easier for all people to use, because when you have your USB of music, maybe you haven't analyzed your tracks, you're coming to the club, plug in, you can kind of go straight away. With Pioneer, I guess this is making it a bit more difficult. If you haven't analyzed your tracks, you only have the waveform at the bottom here. You can't scroll in, you can't create cue points. So I think this is bit of a downfall. One unique feature is actually its connectivity with another player. So if you have the two players linked, you can actually see the waveforms of both in the screen here. So I think that's pretty handy, and it's a pretty cool feature which the Denon doesn't have. Just to let you know, the CDJ-3000 doesn't actually have a CD slot. So all the DJs looking at getting it, we're playing CDs, this is not the player for you. But the same goes also for Denon. So if you're wanting to play just CDs, this does not have a CD slot, but I think it may be a bit misleading, Pioneer DJ, but it's still, yeah. Denon here has its own engine prime software, which is all working within the unit. So when you're putting in your USB or your hard drive in the bottom here, it's analyzing all your tracks for you and it's storing all your tracks, and you can also create playlists. You can create your own crates here by clicking on these, adding these ones, creating the crate like I showed before. If you want, you can also use the Engine Prime software on your laptop, so you can pre-analyze everything and then just go straight into the system and everything is analyzed. And also another great thing is it takes all file types. And I know that the Pioneer has had some problems with this in the past. Even if it's a WAV, I've had files that are not loading and it says it should be. So I think it's pretty cool that you can really put your trust in this system. Unlike Pioneer, which is just solely about rekordbox, actually if you have rekordbox analyzed files, you can play them on the Denon, but it's not the same the other way around. So as I said earlier, you can also turn up with your stick with any files that you've analyzed with rekordbox, anything. It's always going to work on this system. So with Pioneer, we have the software that they're using as rekordbox, and I have had some issues with this in the past in terms of having them not analyze the files quite correctly. You have wrong cue points and stuff like this, and I think that this is where Denon is really picking up their game with all the analyzed files, super clean, everything is as you would expect it. But when you go into rekordbox in the Pioneer, I feel like I do come across some issues sometimes where it's saying unsupported file type. But in saying that, when you do put in your stick that has been analyzed from rekordbox, I think it's super fast. I mean, it's also so quick to load stuff in. Everything is bam, ready, how you want it, like how I want it, quick. So like the Denon Prime software, Pioneer now also supports FLAC, which is good. So let's hope that works when we plug in our USBs. But overall, I really think that Denon kind of takes the cake in terms of software. I think having the device, having everything at your fingertips, no issues, going between devices, no issues. I can really imagine this being super good in a club, coming, easy, putting it in, creating crates. I think it's pretty game-changing in terms of DJ equipment, getting more into the club scene. I think in terms of target group, Denon's really hitting a wider market because one, it's a lot more affordable, and two, it actually acts as two players in one. So this could go for upcoming DJs, such as bedroom DJs, people wanting to try out this style of equipment at an affordable price, and also maybe like events DJs. So you're just carrying the one player with you and using it as a two-player system. So I think Denon has really put their fingers out in the market and made it much more accessible for more people. Whereas Pioneer, I think, has been maybe a bit lazy in this, could say stingy, in terms of having a really, really expensive unit for just one singular unit. And I think they're much more going for clubs, festivals and other parties. I don't think your average kind of bedroom DJ or potentially upcoming DJ would be able to afford such a unit. Me personally, I would not be able to afford such a unit. So I think it's really already knowing where its place is in the market and become comfortable with that. And you can really see that, I guess. But I think it's quite commendable of Denon to be creating a product that is price friendly and also making it like really easy for one person to just use the same unit to play 2 tracks. I mean, maybe for some people this doesn't work, but I also think it's they're hitting a wider group of people. So in terms of the prices for the units, for the Pioneer CDJ-3000, we have this one going for around 2,400 euros and the Denon SC6000 for around 1,500 euros. But again, as I said, this player is acting as 2, so you're having it for like 900 euros less and you're getting double the action, double the feel, and you have a lot more stuff going on here. So I think that it's much more worth the price than the Pioneer here. Denon is trying really hard to push the boundaries when it's coming to DJ equipment. They're adding so many more features. Each version is coming out with some new crazy stuff, new crazy big screen. And I think we can really start to see this popping up in clubs, more events. I think there's so much to offer. It would be silly if people didn't start using this equipment. But naturally, also Pioneer, super established in the scene already. Of course, this is going to be a standard for now in clubs, festivals, etc. But I think this will slowly start to change. I think Pioneer has become pretty comfortable, and as I've been explaining, there's so much more going on with Denon. Each time they're upgrading, things are getting bigger, things are getting better. So I think we can see what's going to happen, but I think Pioneer shouldn't be so comfortable as they are at the moment. So, this is DJ Fuckoff's take on the Pioneer versus Denon debate. And personally, I think Denon smashed it. This is an amazing device. Pioneer, you're also an amazing device, but I think I'd rather see Denon in my clubs.